Welcome to this week's edition of Universal Parenting Clinic. On this show today, I'll be discussing the topic, Teach Your Child Proper Etiquette. It is your responsibility as a parent to teach your child about etiquette, general, social, and acceptable standards of life. Etiquette has been relegated to the background in several homes nowadays, and that accounts for the serious decline in moral discipline among kids and even adults worldwide. People talk anyhow, behave anyhow, and relate anyhow without conforming to known standards and ethics. Introduce the teaching of public etiquette very early in the life of that child too. Even if you miss the early upbringing or the opportunity to do this early, as stated in the point on moral etiquette prior to now, it is not too late to introduce series of domestic moral standards and acceptable social behavioral patterns to your child now that he or she is grown up. Teach the child to be respectful and courteous generally, and especially when talking with elders. Teach food hygiene, toilet manners, body care, how to lay beds, how to behave when she sees visitors or when she go visiting, how to wash her own clothes, and how to support and care for the needs of others. Teach decent table manners. Teach moderation. For example, teach her how to eat without being a talkative at the dining table. Prevention of cutlery from making funny noises while eating. How to pick and watch plays after each meal. Teach her how to chill with mouth closed. And correct bad habits you may notice from time to time, including self-control over their appetite and other eating habits. Teach your children why it is not an acceptable standard to fart carelessly when people are eating or in the midst of others. Apparently, no parent has any reasonable excuse for refusing to bring every child up to the acceptable standard of moral etiquette and acceptable decorum in life. It amounts to foolishness for anyone to hide behind civilization, education, and modernization as justifiable excuses for lack of etiquette in any family. It is an imminent disaster for any child of such parent. This is because certain measures of decorum is required anywhere and everywhere from every responsible person and from everyone that has an average level of decency and respectability in any relationship, in the family, at work, corporate governance, among friends, in the society, in religious groups, at political gatherings, and also in corporate establishments. Certain level and standard of decorum is required of every human being. The current trend of moral decadence and deficiencies in etiquette among youth and some adults is a major foundation for the unfolding disaster that is being witnessed in the world. The growing trend of this anomaly is particularly worrisome and alarming. If all parents worldwide can introduce proper trainings on etiquette to their children, the world will be a far better place for everyone, and most of the social vices and antisocial behaviors will be nipped in the bud. Simple etiquette in decency has now been eroded by the clamor of many people for flamboyant modern lifestyles. Several barbaric habits are now window dressed as being latest fashion in vogue. For instance, pants are for the purpose of covering the private parts of human body. Why do people need to see someone's pants on display? Simply because it's a designer tag and expensive. Brassiere was designed as an appropriate covering for the ladies. It is an appealing development, however, to see ladies put on very expensive version of bras and still have the mammary glands exposed indecently. Why do members of the public need to see the bra advertised rather than using it for the specific purpose? The question to ask for the above and several others that you also may be aware of is why? What's the point? Decency has been overtaken and is being daily outclassed by glamorous indecency. Unfortunately, There are parents among the practitioners of these acts. Those not practicing it are also either ignoring it or encouraging it in their children, while some also celebrate it even if they can't practice it. In the past, people spent little on clothes which served effectively the purpose of covering human nakedness to prevent indecent and shameful exposure. Unfortunately, now we are more civilized and more educated. People still spend fortunes on expensive designer clothing and still walk about in them naked. Quality money is now being spent on clothes, and with eyes open, same people tear these clothes into rags, and people have much fashion for them, even teenagers. In the past, who would dare to wear rags? It's good to have changes and developments evolving with modernization because change is a constant thing. But even then, be reasonable with adaptation and be sensible with what you and your child gets addicted to. Modernization and civilization are being used for window dressing previously unacceptable indecent acts to the admiration of parents. You have a moral responsibility to ensure your child is well trained. Train your child to maintain proper decorum. Teach your child all about decency and moderation. Inculcate in your child the culture of respectability. Promote high sense of etiquette in your family, from you to your spouse and to your child. As you should know, this is not a condemnation to the general public because we live in a world of freedom and individual choices. People are free to wear or do as they want and as they deem fit and proper. However, it's your judgment call to decide what is reasonable for your child and the purpose, because many youths now don't go with purpose, morality, decency, moderation, but merely by copying what's in vogue, what's trending, and what others are addicted to, without considering whether such practice is reasonable or sensible. For example, I do see youths walking about near naked in very cold winter weather, tying their jacket to their waist and shivering, at a time when others have 2 to 3 clothes on for warmth. The answers some of them give me occasionally will amuse you. Is either to show a summer wear or to impress. Pneumonia could result from this addiction, but do they care? I also do see ladies with high-heeled shoes going about in agony and pain. Some will buy emergency footwear when the pain becomes unbearable, while I have seen many walking barefootedly. Why? If the dress code doesn't fit the occasion, why wear it and suffer? For instance, the first dress was made by God to clothe Adam and Eve because they felt naked and ashamed after the devil exposed their nakedness. In Genesis, God clothed them to cover their nakedness and shame, which pushed them into hiding after they heard the forbidden fruit. Proper dressing and dress code to fit occasions is part of proper etiquette, and it is your responsibility as a parent. Make the right judgment call. Teach your child everything necessary in proper etiquette. Bring him or her up with proper etiquette, such that as he or she grows, good moral standard will be a way of life and a virtue that cannot be compromised. Maintain proper decorum in speech, in relationship, in communication, and in everyday lifestyles. If you as a parent finds it difficult, for instance, to dress appropriately and decently, which may also be due to lack of proper upbringing or other external factors, how can you convince your child to be decent in dressing? The trend will therefore continue to deteriorate dangerously. If you don't season your speech with decency, your children will talk to people anyhow. If you drive recklessly and call other drivers abusive names, your children will emulate same. If you encourage racism in your speech, your children will grow to embrace racism as an habit. If you talk to others abusively, your children will be abusive to others. If you treat people with contempt, your children will do same. If you are respectful towards others, your children are likely to behave same ways. Most times, when you see children who misbehave, they are actually worthy ambassadors of the type of homes they are from. If you notice indecency of any form in your child, you have a responsibility as a parent to address it and show him or her the proper manners from infancy. If you teach your child that covetousness, anger, cheating, stealing, killing, racism, and several other barbaric attitudes and antisocial behaviors are unacceptable, there is a possibility that such child will adjust and embrace the right attitude. There are children who have been brought up decently and will not steal, even if they are hungry for several hours, and they will still behave decently. Whereas there are children who have everything at their fingertips, yet in the midst of abundance, they still steal and are arrogant. It's all a matter of upbringing. You and your children can be modern without compromising your moral values and etiquette, despite being in a compromising world. You and your child can dare to be different in this compromising world by not compromising your standard, and with time, it will spread. So make a bold statement about decency, morality, and etiquette. Thanks for your time, and that's the show this week. Don't forget, teach your child proper etiquette from now on. I believe strongly that through this universal parenting clinic, and with proper understanding of the book, Parenting Without Tears, together, we all can promote wellness in families and in the whole world. We can stop the tears from children, parents, and families. We can kick indiscipline and the series of antisocial behaviors and social vices out of all families and the whole world. And at the same time, we can promote decency, discipline, good moral values among children, and enhance all the positive desires and aspirations towards success and glorious well-being of the children, their parents, and the world at large. Till I come your way again next week, I am the parenting advocate in the house, Michael Benga Bibilari, MGB, Mr. Parenting. Think parenting, talk parenting, be passionate about parenting. Don't just be a parent. Stop posturing. Be a real parent. A parent indeed. Parent well.